In this video, I will spend 100 days in a village. I'll need to chop down a lot of trees and dedicate plenty of time to trading with the villagers. What will come of it? Let's find out. If you've seen my previous hardcore video, you know that I died at the end. So, I created a new world and spawned in a plains biome. At this stage, there wasn't much worth mentioning, as I was doing the usual early game tasks, chopping trees, gathering food, and running around in search of a village. On my way, I came across a ruined portal, but honestly, the chest next to it didn't have anything interesting. After a few days, I stumbled upon a jungle biome. Although it was quite small, I was lucky enough to find an abandoned temple. I checked the chests, took the sticky pistons, and moved on. I have to admit, I spent quite a while looking for a village. It took me about 5 days to find one. What's more, the village I found was pretty small, with only 5 villagers. On the bright side, this actually worked out better for me, since my main goal was to see how much I could develop the village in 100 days, and whether I could enchant top-tier armor within that time. So, I built myself a small house to store my items. From its exterior, you can tell that I didn't focus too much on its design. For now, I just needed a practical place to sleep and store my stuff. Of course, I plan to build a better house later on. After finishing the house, I started breeding villagers and trading with them. Since my village was located in the mountains near a forest, the most logical choice was to develop trade with the archers first, as I could sell them sticks. My main goal was to gather emeralds and buy tools, so I also focused on trading with the blacksmith. I wanted him to sell me an axe so I could chop wood more efficiently, but he didn't like that idea and instead decided to sell me a shovel. Despite that, I was eventually able to buy a pickaxe from him, and then I bought a Fortune 3 book from the librarian and enchanted my diamond pickaxe. Next, I went to a cave because my iron was running low, and chopping wood with a stone axe would take forever. During my challenge, I went into the cave 3 times, and during that time, I found plenty of iron and more than enough diamonds, which I would later use to craft diamond armor. After a while, I decided to improve the village a bit to keep the villagers safe and make sure they wouldn't run away. I leveled the area, planted some bamboo, and built a fence. The houses on the mountain were destroyed since they were hard to reach. On the other hand, I built one large house near mine for the villagers so they would have a place to sleep. Additionally, I started breeding sheep and later, cows as well. I kept chopping trees over and over again, and this task took up about 90% of my challenge. So, there wasn't anything particularly exciting happening during those moments. It's quite a monotonous job that can be very draining, so if you decide to take on this challenge, be prepared to lose a lot of your nerve cells. About 70 days into my challenge, I already had plenty of wool, around 10 stacks. So, I decided to breed a few shepherds and start selling wool to them. Gradually, the village was developing, and I was buying the books I needed from librarians. Everything was going quite well, and I had enough emeralds for my purchases. However, at this point, the biggest issue was that I didn't have enough experience to enchant these books for armor and tools. To gather more experience, I continued doing everything I had been doing before, selling sticks, wool, and buying books. This method was the most effective for me because it allowed me to earn emeralds, improve the villagers, and buy new enchanted books. I was so absorbed in the monotonous task of chopping trees that I didn't even notice the pillagers walking right in front of me. My eyes were fixed on the ground as I was collecting sticks and apples, and it wasn't until I walked right up to them that I saw them. In fact, during my challenge, I often thought about them and waited for them to come, but at that moment, I definitely didn't expect to encounter them. In the next video, I plan to call a raid on the village, so stay tuned if you want to see how I'll fend off the pillagers. 100 days have passed. Do you think I managed to enchant top-tier armor? Yes, I did. My village developed so much that I turned 5 villagers into 40. I had so many librarians that I could buy almost every book, except for those related to crossbows, tridents, and fishing rods. Moreover, almost all of these books were at maximum level, with only a few books being sold by villagers with mid-tier enchantments. Here's how my armor and tools look, and I still have a few top-tier books left that are incompatible with the enchantments on my gear, so I'll use them later for other purposes. I also managed to earn about 4 additional stacks of emeralds. I'm satisfied with the result, as I managed to accomplish exactly what I wanted in these 100 days. Would I recommend this growth method? It depends on the circumstances. You have to understand that your situation depends on the conditions around you and your goal. If you're a noob like I was, and you want to develop safely, this method might suit you. However, keep in mind that you'll still need to adjust your strategy. For example, if your village is near a river, you could sell not only sticks but also clay, making the process more varied and interesting. But if your goal is to speedrun Minecraft, this method is definitely not for you. Overall, I can say that while it was quite exhausting, I really enjoyed it. Plus, now I have a large number of villagers, and if friends join me in the future, they'll be able to quickly enchant their armor and tools. Thank you to everyone who watched this video to the end, and thank you for your support and positive feedback. Feel free to leave your advice and thoughts in the comments about this challenge or anything else. I'd be happy to chat with you. Wishing you success, and see you next time.